So today we have a very important theme that is negative authority and how we are so addicted to it for centuries. How can we recognize that in ourselves and in the others? How can we work with that? And how we are responsible for owning our own darkness so we can really transform all these cages that we live, the social conditioning, the conditionings that we carry for centuries, so we can blossom into the new generation of mankind that is urgent need for all of us. We as a society, if you go to all what the big masters, the ones that they are known by the majority, every of them, they are speaking about loving the other as you love yourself, respect for life, justice. And if we see the history, our history, we are slavery is still a reality. Women not having rights in many countries is still a reality. Children that they are forced to work and they can't be children and they are not even paid, it's still a reality in many countries. And we, what we call the more modern society, we still allow that to happen. There's still a big difference the way we treat people with less opportunities in life, and we are still ruled by the power of money. And this is a current subject that we need to look very deep in each other and in ourselves. And why? Because if we don't recognize that inside of us, we will allow that to happen. And it's what is going on around the world. And of course, we are in still a long path to what really means to live from those principles where we respect life force in every being, beyond sex, beyond age, beyond color of skins, beyond cultures, and beyond social status and economic status. If we go to medieval age, you see that we were ruled by kings and lordlands, that they would have the capacity to ask for taxes for the ones that they would work and would not receive. And church would have a very strong power. So people in general that would not born in those families, they would be the ones that they were totally controlled by the minority that would sustain power in their hands. What happened is we all live for centuries from a very fear-based society, that the strong one, the powerful one, is the one that rules. So in a very profound, that was just an example, like slavery is exactly the same thing. And for us women, we are only the second generations that we have the right to have a voice, almost without being killed or being banished. And we need to recognize that we are just giving very small steps towards to a very fair society, that they are a society that is really based in principles like justice, integrity, compassion, and respect. We already give big steps, but we are still in a long process to the world to really change and to treat everyone as a son and a daughter of life, and for the most spiritual ones, from the son of a daughter of God, of the higher intelligence or consciousness. So today we are touching this very important subject, that where is it come Where does it start, this fear-based society where power and money are the rulers? And it's not about who has the money, because money itself and power itself is totally neutral. What we are really here talking is the soul evolution, because money itself is neutral. What we do with money, the meaning that we give to money, the meaning that we give to politics, the meaning that we give to power, it's from the human soul part that comes that meaning, and the way we use and we apply certain rules to mankind, to each other, to society. So we need to analyze where we bring all this conditioning, soul conditioning, that we give to power, to what it means politics. Politics truly means is the art of taking care of others, and that is one of the highest forms of love. Love is to deeply care for others the same way we care for our own self and for our family. So if we think in global terms, politics should be the highest form of love. But of course, since centuries and centuries, what we live is the opposite, is that politics and power, and they are the biggest fountain of corruption, and not really taking care, but really taking advantage for only certain group of people to have the wealth and the opportunities in their hands. And honestly, I want you to hear from a space, from a person that I come from a very wealthy family for centuries. So I don't have this stigma of inferiority, because somehow I was born in this lineage. I'm really speaking about from a place that even if I had everything in my family, I can see the injustice and unfair that we all live in this society. And that's why I gave my life to consciousness, because I really believe that the true revolution, it starts inside of each one of us. Because how can we demand to our politics if we sell our soul to poor relations, love relations? We stay with people just because it's safe. We don't love them, but it's so easy, and we stay with them. Okay, I can steal a little bit here because no one is watching, so a little bit more for me and for my family. I can accept corruption a little bit there because I understand what is true corruption inside of myself. And I'm not even putting the responsibility on the others that they do it, because we never know what took them to do it. I'm really now calling attention for all of us that we allow this to happen inside of us. And the true corruption starts when we sell principles of integrity, respect, justice, true love for fear, for the doubts of our soul that take us to to become beggars in the true sense of the words. And today it's about this. How can we stop this heritage of negative authority that we bow to? And negative authority is so deep that for centuries, that's the ones that would push us to a place of negligence, that would mistrust us, that would speak abusing their own power towards to us, would be the people that we would respect, because we are such a fear-based society that in our unconscious, for centuries, the one that they would overcome their own boundaries and disrespect ourselves that would be totally associated with power. I need to behave so I'm not killed for centuries. And even now, the ones that they do the same, because it's so unconscious, we react on the same level. I want to say that the ones that gives you their time, their true care, their friendship, that they give them kindness to you, normally is the ones that you don't respect. Why? Because in a very unconscious level, normally from centuries and centuries, we were obliged to respect these groups, that they could take our lives just because they wanted. In a very unconscious level, very deep and very strong, we almost automatically we respond directly to this negative authority that is full of injustice and overcoming the power. And the ones that we call, that I can call here positive authority, that they can explain rules, they can explain why the rules exist, that they can give you a second chance without putting your life in danger or not disrespecting your integrity, explaining and giving you a sense that you have a word to say, that your position and perspective is welcome. What happens to these people, that they give us this space, this possibility of dialogue, of true listening to you. What happened is, in a very unconscious level, these people would be the ones that they were considered weaker, or the ones that couldn't stand power, because they would have this space to allow this interaction. So we are speaking about two unconscious forces that they live inside of us for centuries. And all the fights for rights, for justice that we were having during this society for centuries, now we are in the perfect timing to see what we will do with this after this world global crisis. And we are in a big opportunity of this society to overcome this paradigm that we are still separated from each other and come for the true meaning of politics. This is one of the highest forms of love, that is taking care of each other, no matter the country, no matter the culture, the color of skin, status, whatever. Only by taking responsibility for your, what we call in this language, the shadow that lives always inside of us, only by that you can really grow into your awareness. It's only by that that you can really face what is inside of you and to transform. If you don't face it with the eyes of truth that you have, if you don't face it, you will never change. You will be always in the illusion of the self that is created but by your personality structure. Only you will always be stuck in your self-illusions and recreating the same kind of life. And I know that truth transformation inside, that is releasing, liberating yourself from the personality structure that recreates certain types of ego that will always run to protect, will try to protect your own needs and your own creations of the self. you will never contribute to a true society, because you are still grabbing your own illusion about life. You are only thinking about me, in a sense of a very egoistic term. When we start to come to places where we confront this egoism, there's a sense in the beginning of shock and true trauma, that what was I doing? And I want to speak to you that you already touched that place. That is, you are really brave, you can transform. And only by doing that, we are contributing to a true society. Why you allow negative authority in your life where people don't respect you is where you need to pay attention and to look for help to work with that. It can be the confusion about love, admiration, can be the fear of losing someone, can be the need for financial support, can be the need of recognition, can be the fear of staying alone, can be not knowing what is love, can be because you were growing in a very toxic environment, so you don't even understand what is love and boundaries, because you were totally abused, because you saw parents behaving in a certain way, because you were mistreated in your school and now you think that is normal. That is where you need to look to work. That is the key so you can grow. So I'm inviting you to realize that our relations are so complex that sometimes even the same person that we allow them not to respect us is the same person that is giving us the true love and compassion in the most difficult moments. And sometimes even strangers are in that moment more close and more understanding than the others that we live with. So this complexity of humanity is a product of our social conditioning and our unconsciousness. That's why it's so deeply important that we all do this work of going step by step to see where we are hooked, where we are wounded, where we sell our principles so we can get attention, so we can get approval or power or recognition. Because if we don't do that, if we don't become responsible for our own shadow, how can we respect ourselves and deeply love ourselves and respect and love other beings? It's impossible, because if we don't have inside, we don't have to give to the others. Only by becoming responsible for our unconscious, only by becoming responsible for our own shadow, we will rise into awareness. We will bring the light of consciousness to that part. This is the perfect timing to remember that the true essence of human beings is goodness, is kindness, is love, is true compassion, is consciousness. We need to remember this. We need to support each other to remember this. It's so important. It's so important to remember this. The more aware we become, the more hearted human beings we will become, the more compassionate beings we will become. And all the knowledge, the mental knowledge, the scientific knowledge will align with the true principles, with the heart, and we will dignify what the true meaning of mankind. Only by this we can align ourselves and globally with what really matters. That is the higher meaning of love, that is taking care of each other. from a very respectful and just and fair and humanitarian, how can we still allow millions of people dying from not having nothing to eat? How can we allow this? We are in a big process of awakening. I'm not a religious person, but I have a deep faith in the cosmic unknown mystery of life. What put us here that we don't know how to explain, what makes us to be alive. I have a big faith, and that in men, in women, is goodness, is kindness, is the flame of life, and we are all this.